Um, for both of you, from Sylvester, what advice would you give to yourself back when you were building your portfolio and didn't know anyone in LA and, or didn't know anyone in the industry? What advice would you give your younger self? Hmm.
I got it because I got really lucky and someone gave me this advice. So I'm gonna and I try to give this advice to lots of people. My New York portfolio had every page had like 30 drawings on it. It was like, how much can I show of myself? And this director Randy Myers, who I worked with in New York, who ended up he's an LA guy. When I showed him my portfolio, he was like, "You can't, this is an awful portfolio," and I was like, "Why?" And he was like, and he said to me, if you want someone to look at one of your drawings, you can't surround it by 10 other drawings. Like,
Uh,
they may not look at what you want them to see. They're just going to see noise. Like,
Mm.
put less work in your portfolio, just make the work really impactful and give it room to breathe. And I love that advice because, the truth was probably that I was hiding behind those drawings. I was filling all those pages because I was nervous to say this is my drawing. It was like, here's a lot of
uh,
stuff. Maybe you'll find what you like.
yeah,
But
yeah.
the point was like, you're just confusing people.
Huh.
And I
What
thought it was
about, no, what about people whose portfolio is just kind of like their Instagram though? I guess that's like you see the one image. You say I don't I mean I got into the industry so long ago. It was a literal paper portfolio and I was Sue Rose. I worked for her in New York and she brought me to LA. So it was I can't give any advice on how to break in, but do you think because I now that I'm looking at artists' websites, it's nice to have a website where it's like the single image that you can click through.
I have a whole thing. I'm gonna do it.
Do it.
I think I think that people confuse things for portfolios. I think the word portfolio gets used to capture things that are not portfolios.
Hmm.
I think that I think a portfolio is the thing that you use to get a job, and I think your website or your Instagram, that is your body of work.
Hmm.
They're different. You should have both. But like when you're applying for a job, if you know anything about that job or that studio, don't just send your Instagram, send your portfolio. And that portfolio is tuned for the eyeballs that might be seeing you.
So
Like,
curated for that type of show,
yeah,
put those images in there and
totally.
send that link.
Even if it's just organized differently, like I became crazy about this. And when I was trying to get my job on Adventure Time, I hadn't had to make a portfolio in a long time because I had moved from show to show. And I remember I was like, I'm gonna do drawings specifically for Penn. They weren't even like in my stuff. Like I
Yeah.
sat down and was like, I'm doing drawings that I want Penn to see. And not only do I want him to see them, they're gonna be the first drawings in my portfolio. And then I'm gonna get into some of my work and get through it. And then at the end of my portfolio, I'm gonna give him a couple more drawings I want him to see. So I was like, I'm gonna start for him, I'm gonna end for him, and then I'm gonna live with the rest of my work in the middle. But your portfolio should constantly change. You should be moving work in and out of it. You should be tuning it for different people. If you're applying for a board job or a design job, they shouldn't be the same portfolio. You should do, if you're applying for a board job, make it 80% boarding, 20% your other stuff. If you're applying for a design job, make it 80% design and 20% your story work. Don't not show all of who you are, but like weight the way you present yourself to the audience.
Very good advice. That is,
Yeah.
yeah. Because it's the worst when you want to look up an artist and it's like their personal blog and it's a lot of pictures, like photos of their dog or something. And you're just like, just get me to the drawings that I need to see to make yeah.
Someone's asking about separate Instagram page only for portfolio
Yeah.
purposes. I think that separate Instagram page, you should have it. It's not your portfolio. Call it your portfolio, but don't think of it as this is the thing I send everyone. You need to create something that is I love analogies. You need to put a piece of bait on your hook, and that bait may be different for every job out there.
Yeah.
So your Instagram page for your artwork, that is great. That is a great place to showcase who you are in your body of work. But if you are applying for a job on Summer Camp Island at Cartoon Network, the work in your portfolio should look different than if you're applying for a job on Battle Kitty at Netflix. They are different tones of shows. You can learn a little bit about those shows. You can learn a little bit about the people who work on those shows, and then you tweak it for that audience. It is a lot of work, but like, think about what you're trying to do. You're trying to get a job, and you're also trying to separate yourself from a lot of other people, and put in that effort and energy. And you learn. You're like, oh, this worked or didn't work. There's advice here. Any advice to someone who wants to make a short film and use that to apply for a job? I got a lot of advice about this. At CalArts, there's definitely a really strong history of filmmaking for all the animation students there, and they're really, really good to do. But like, a lot of jobs in animation don't look at your filmmaking as that prerequisite. So what I recommend is like, make your film, tell your story, but take the elements from that production and use those to build yourself a portfolio. Because like, I think getting your film in festivals is great. I think getting it seen, putting it on Vimeo, getting it on YouTube, getting it out to the world is an awesome thing to do. But it's about being a part of a production pipeline, and your film shows your whole body of work versus it being about those specific things. But if your film is funny, that will help you get considered for story jobs on comedy shows. If your film is action-packed and dramatic, it will help you get seen as a potential story artist for those shows. So like, again, like, it's that separate the artist, auteur, and the commercial artist. Like, you have to remember that there is a Venn diagram where they overlap, but sometimes they do not overlap.